सादरं स्तौतीति सादरम् गोवर्धन गिरिधार गोविन्द गोवर्धन गिरिधार गोविन्द गोकुलपालक परमानन्द गोवर्धन गिरिधार श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रीकौस्तुभधर श्रीवत्साङ्कित श्रीकौस्तुभधर भावकवयहर पाहि मुकुन्द गोवर्धन गिरिधार पाटित सूररिपु पादपवृन्द पावन चरित रामृत कंद पाटित सूररिपु पादपवृन्द पावन चरित परामृत कंद नाट्य रसोद्घट नानाभरण नारायण तीर्थार्चित चरण गोवर्धन गिरिधार गोविन्द गोकुलपालक परमानन्द गोवर्धन गिरिधार Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It takes years of practice to deliver something as stunning as that via the internet world. Thank you so much for that, Professor Amritavarshini. I now request Dr. B. Shailashri, Associate Professor, Department of Communication, to please welcome the distinguished speakers and the esteemed participants.
Thank you, Mansi. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Department of Communication, Bangalore University Gnanabharati campus, I welcome you all. I welcome you all for the 3 days International Conference on Science Communication in association with Indian Association of Science Fiction Studies. We have successfully completed the first technical session in the afternoon on writing for science communication. I extend a very warm welcome to everybody for the second technical session on health communication. I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University, Professor K. R. Venugopal sir, who will be giving the presidential remarks today. I welcome Dr. Sachidanand, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Research Center, Karnataka. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Uma Sharma, Professor of Mathematics, Co-Director for Geographics Lab Sciences and Mathematics Center, Bridgewater State University, USA, who is with us today to deliver the keynote address. I also welcome Dr. C.N. Manjunath, Director, Sri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bangalore. Welcome you, sir. I welcome Dr. C. Ramachandra, Director, Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, Bangalore. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Krishnamurthy, Convener, International Conference for Science Communication 2020, Professor, Department of Chemistry, to this session, sir. I welcome you. I welcome the Chairman of the Department of Communication, Professor B.K. Ravi, sir, my colleague, Dr. N. Sanjeev Raja, Associate Professor, and also Vasundhara Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor. I welcome all the faculty members, students, research scholars, and all the participants to this session. Welcome one and all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shailashri, for welcoming the esteemed speakers and the participants. I now request Dr. B.K. Ravi, Professor and Chairman, Department of Communication, Bangalore University, Gnan Bharati campus, to set the stage for the three-day seminar by talking about the objectives and also to set the expectations, please. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Greetings from the Department of Communication, Bangalore University. The Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University, Dr. K.R. Venugopal, who is presiding this session. Dr. Uma Sharma, the Professor of Mathematics from Bridgewater State University, Bridgewater, United States of America. Dr. Sachidanand, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Research, Karnataka. Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath, the Honorable Director of Jaideva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research. Dr. C. Ramachandra, the Honorable Director of Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology. Dr. Krishnamurthy, the convener of the conference, and all my dear colleagues, delegates, research scholars, my dear students, participants, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, it's a great honor for me to organize this international conference on science communication. Bangalore University, this time we are organizing the 5th International Science Fiction Conference 2020, which is a very unique conference and which is the convergence of almost all the fraternities. More than 300 scientists, research scholars are presenting, and thousands of papers are being presented virtually in different parts of from different parts of the globe. So this is the first time in Bangalore University, though Bangalore University had the privilege of organizing Indian Science Congress twice, but this is the first time we are having such a mega conference which is organized virtually. And this is an excellent event for quite a lot of scientists and researchers to present their research findings. So Department of Communication, Bangalore University, which is half a century old, the contribution of this department to the field of media throughout the world and even within the country and within the state is something marvelous. So we thought that organizing an international conference on science communication would be really meaningful, because majority of the times whenever we speak of the growth of Indian media industry, which has started dominating the globe, we are dominating the globe so far as the commercial aspects are concerned. The Indian media industry is growing very fast. So within this, most of the time, whenever we talk of the social responsibility and quite a lot of things of that kind, majority of the times, the developmental messages related to medical and health fields are not communicated to a common man to the maximum extent. So we thought that the scientific temperament, especially India is a developing country where the scientific temperament, scientific messages needs to be propagated, which needs to reach to the common man. Because I will give you a small example. When Bangalore University, along with Doordarshan, we organized a Chandana Award function. I think we invited, Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath, he was one of the awardee. And in his speech, I think he gave some of the clues about how to be healthy. So that went viral, because as a medical personality, as a health personality, you have quite a lot of scientific knowledge with you, and amalgamating of science knowledge, messages related to medical and health fields needs to be done, where media also has the social responsibility of having this to be done. So in view of this, we wanted to have this international conference on science education, where we planned 3 days of sessions. The first is on health communication. The second, tomorrow we will have on satellite communication. And on the third day, we will have on environmental communication. But after COVID-19, all of us know how messages related to health and medical field were floated throughout the world, and what are the do's and don'ts, what should we do and what we should not do. So as today we have the most prestigious three medical professionals, Dr. Sachidanand, who is a very popular doctor, as all of us know. Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath, is his contribution to the field of cardiovascular field is something great. And Dr. Ramchandra is also serving in Kidwai Memorial Institute. So we wanted our eminent doctors to give their opinion about the amalgamation of medical-oriented messages through media, how it can reach the common man. That's the main intention of this conference. And we requested Dr. Uma Sharma, who is the alumni of Bangalore University. She's a senior professor of mathematics in Bridgewater State University, United States of America, and who is an expert in science communication. When we invited her, she said, science communication is my very pet subject, and we requested her to deliver the keynote address. And under the able leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, K.R. Venugopal, I think a mega virtual international conference is on the way. And Department of Communication, we have around 7 sessions where quite a lot of research scholars will be making their presentations throughout the globe. So, in the year 1992, Department of Communication, Bangalore University, we were the first to be recognized by the Department of Science and Technology for science communication. We regularly used to organize workshops for journalists on science communication. And really, we need to have quite a lot of people who can write science, whether it may be a medical practitioner or a scientist or an academician, because until and unless we translate these scientific messages to the common man's language and see to it, it reaches the population, it will be very, very difficult for a country like India for development. So once again, I welcome all of you, sir. It's a great honor that all the dignitaries have come. And once again, I extend a very warm welcome from on behalf of the Department of Communication, Bangalore University. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Namaste.
Thank you so much, first, for stating the objectives and setting the expectations for the next 3 days. We now have the keynote address by Dr. Uma Sharma, Professor of Mathematics, Bridgewater State University, Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Dr. Uma is the Professor of Maths and Computer Science, Bridgewater State at Massachusetts. She was a part of the project that created a geographical information system which details 500 bus schedules across the United States. Dr. Sharma, who lives in Bridgewater, went to the United States from India to pursue graduate school at the University of Connecticut. She fell in love with the BSU's focus on students. She co-founded the university's Faculty and Librarian Development Program, which is now known as the Center for Advancement of Research and Scholarship. And she is now the co-director of Geographics Laboratory, which for decades has been on the forefront of public transportation mapping innovations across Massachusetts. Dr. Sharma has contributed to the effort to digitize bus routes and provide customers with real-time tracking, even much before programs by Google and others made this common features. She's focused on public transportation for people with disabilities, from making it easier for the blind to know what bus is arriving, to optimizing services to reduce costs for agencies. The students participating in these projects through the Geographics Lab is her inspiration to continue her work in the classroom. She aims to dispel the negative connotations they sometimes have about math and show them that it is a part of everyday life, even when facing an out-of-control truck. Thank you for making time, ma'am. The spotlight is all yours.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Greetings from Bridgewater State University, USA. It's very interesting to hear that you introduced. Thank you very much for all of you to organize and inviting me to be part of this conference. I would like to meet that person that you talked about. I know that this afternoon there were excellent sessions who technically talked about the media, science, communication, and I also see that there are eminent medical experts who are going to talk about what they are going to present. I'm looking forward to both sessions. I want to bring from user perspective, from a common man's perspective, how science communication and what is happening and what is working and what can be not working. To begin with, I want to just focus on the basic idea of what is science. For me, it is about gaining knowledge on methodology based on evidence, objective observation, measurement, and data analytics using mathematical tools. And making hypotheses based on existing knowledge, gathering evidence to test systematically. Of course, there has to be continuous improvement. As we learn more, we can fine tune our knowledge and communication part. It's also communication that's transferring this scientific knowledge to the community effectively. Of course, they both go hand in hand. Just having the scientific knowledge is not useful unless we communicate to the relevant common persons. Communication is also cannot be standalone because it needs content. Content knowledge is where scientific research or systematic research that we talk about. And because of these important endeavors, what we do at Bridgewater is to have every student, undergraduate student, who is required to complete courses in communication and science as part of their core requirements. So everyone has to take courses in these fields. Of course, the most important part in the communication is the trusted communication that's key to sharing this evidence-based content developed by scientific research. And trusted scientific research, when published in peer-reviewed journals, that's what we depended on. But now that takes more than a year sometimes, and it's we saw in 2020 that we can't wait for years to have a peer-reviewed journal, which is valid. We can trust that information, but there are many other technological new developments that we are all working on and depending on, including today's conference, wouldn't have been possible if I didn't travel to Bangalore. Sitting here, I'm able to join instantly. And these technological advancements and social media sharing of information in almost real time and it's making very efficient way of communication. Of course, there are many other printed media, access to information through the phone or mass television, educational channels, audiobooks, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, and so on. This afternoon, we heard the presenters talk about what they are doing, how they are communicating with the public. And that was very interesting to see what is working and how they're approaching as we are developing it. And of course, we also heard that it was open access and easy access for this communication to reach to large audience, to the public. And right now in United States, as much as we had all the technologies and telehealth has become an important tool, even before we go to any doctor's office because of COVID, we are not ready to just walk into a hospital or doctor's office. We have what is called telehealth. That is the first mode of interaction between a patient and a doctor. And based on telehealth, they evaluate and they only let who is required to be seen in person. And that has become very important for us. And of course, being anywhere, it has taught us that virtual teaching has become a new opportunity for faculty to communicate with their students. Of course, there are limitations. I don't get to see my students in the classroom, and but I'm able to make the best use of the situation and still be able to communicate. And we should make sure that the tools that we develop don't have gaps. Because if we graft technological tools on inequitable systems, they will become more efficient, broken system. And so we have to see how we can make research applicable for anti-misogynist and anti-racist. There are no one size fits all. For example, if there are heart attack symptoms that have been studied, well studied, researched, for in male patients, that may be very different for female patients. If the scientific research is based on male patients, homogenized particular group of patients, that's not the same treatment that we can expect, which will work effectively on female patients. Cancer research based on white homogeneous patient may not be effective for people of color. And that's why we are trying to understand how we can apply and continuously change effective ways of communication, as well as what works and what does not work. Of course, nowadays everyone has the information at their fingertips, figuratively and literally, and we can Google, we can look for information from the trusted websites. At the same time, it's too much information that we have. And this is where we depend on the experts and who can we trust for the communication, for the kind of information that is always available. And communication between doctor and patient, so that patient can be part of the team player. It's not just one way to communication. And that knowledge sharing with the patient can also be extended to caretakers, because as doctors say, they can physically evaluate, diagnose, give a treatment, but that's after that point, it's the patient and the patient's family caretakers or whoever they are, they have to have the knowledge of continued improvement. And because of this, there are many companies like Nura Health, right in Bangalore, from United States based, and they are trying to get the information to the public, involving the public, training the local uh, experts who need to be involved and who can take care of people. Those kinds of information and the communication and media are critical to make sure that everyone is together. And we have to make sure that it's user-centered, multimedia, and human-centered design, which are critical to the scientific research and communication. As this information does not go through peer review, there is also an opportunity for misinformation. And for example, if you see when Dr. Anthony Fauci shares information on the television or any media, it's based on scientific research, and people trust and get the information directly from Dr. Fauci. On the other hand, we have had our President Donald Trump, who is given daily briefings for the COVID 19, and every day on television for more than an hour, he used to give the daily briefings, but people did not completely trust that information as it was not presented with evidence, and sometimes it was not in systematic and not scientific way of doing it. In fact, Dr. Fauci has been so excellent that they even call the Fauci effect, where medical school applications have increased by 17% when all other applications for higher education has been declining. And this is what shows how the communication is trusted and how people are getting that information almost in real time. Like the way they talk about 7 C's in communication, it needs to be clear, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. And that is important as far as the knowledge content is communicated to the public. And one has to be a good storyteller and keep in mind the audience that they're telling the story. And identifying central individuals in a social network is key to the communication. Example, for contact tracing with COVID infection is critical to the control of the spread. On our campus, we have every building with access to buildings with the ID card, so that it helps to track the contact tracing depending on as needed. If somebody who has entered was found out that it's COVID positive, then they can easily find out who else was around that area at the given time. But this is very different in rural immigrant communities here in United States, where it is most effective with trusted voices from within. And new research is being done using natural language processing and training large artificial intelligence models. But that consumes a lot of computer processing. And hence, I know that day three is focused on environmental communication. So we have to think about the carbon footprint and the electricity that's used. And the Me Too and the Black Lives Matter movements, for example, have tried to establish a new anti sexist and anti racist vocabulary. It will also fail to capture the language and the norms of countries and peoples that have less access to the internet, and thus a smaller linguistic footprint online. The result is that AI generated language will be homogenized, reflecting the practice of the richest communities and countries. So we have to be aware of the medium of communication and the content knowledge and who we are communicating and how we are doing it. The opportunities exist. At the same time, we also have to make sure that not one way of communicating works for every individual. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from other presentations. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for the opportunity, and organizers. I would like to extend my warm greetings from Bridgewater and look forward to many more of these communications that can easily be globalized.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think the greatest takeaway from this is it's not just important to possess knowledge, but it's also about how we communicate it to the target audience. Thank you for emphasizing on credibility and the trust when it comes to science communication. It's great to see how patients and caretakers are today's stakeholders in making decisions and following it up. Thank you so much for those valuable inputs, ma'am. We now have a distinguished lecture, and it will be delivered by our next speaker today, Dr. S. Sachidananda, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Research Center, Karnataka. Dr. S. Sachidananda is an MD, DVD, DHA, and FRCP from Glasgow. He was formerly the professor and HOD Department of Dermatology, Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute, and former registrar of evaluation from 2007 to 2010, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore. When it comes to his research on dermatology, he has several books, articles, and research project at a national and international scale to his credit. He's been the secretary, Karnataka Government Medical Officers Association during 1990 to 1992, honorary secretary and treasurer of Karnataka Tamil Nadu branch of IADVI, during which it was awarded the best branch for both the years. He's also served as the Vice President and President for Karnataka and Tamil Nadu branch of IADVL between 2000 and 2004. He's been the Honorary Secretary, Karnataka Government Medical and Dental Teachers Association. He's also been the National Honorary General Secretary for Indian Association of Dermatologists, venerologists, and nephrologists. He has been a board member, International League of Dermatological Societies, World Congress of Dermatology 2007 at Buenos Aires, Argentina, and WCD 2011 at Seoul, South Korea. He's been the Vice President, Association of Cutaneous Surgeons of India. He's also been the convener of several international events in the field of healthcare for a very, very long time now. And if I continue, I've got 2 to 3 pages of his achievement. So I will give the spotlight to you, sir. Please. Thank you for making time, sir. It's all yours now.
Thank you, and good evening to one and all. That was a very elaborate introduction. I would have sent a short one. Anyway, first of all, my greetings to all the delegates who are logged into this international conference on science communication. My pranams to Dr. Venugopal KR, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bangalore University, and Madam Dr. Uma Sharma, Professor of Mathematics, Bridgewater State University, Bridgewater, and my co-speakers, Dr. C.N. Manjunath and Dr. C. Ramchandra, and Dr. B.K. Ravi, Registrar of Bangalore University, and all the other dignitaries who have organizers who have organized this science conference on communication issues. Science communication is as important as any, it's a day-to-day affair that all of us keep doing this. The only thing that distinguishes man from other animals is that we communicate. Of course, animals also communicate through non-verbal ways, but the better communication has been established in human beings, and man distinguishes himself from animals by being more communicative, more emotive, more getting across things whatever he wants to convey in a better way. So communication is the key in establishing good societal relationships, societal norms, and societal actions as well. So here, health communication is a part of science communication. Health communication is very important because this is one science which relates to common man also. Common man may not be much interested in how engineering work is being done, how a space communication happens, many other things which really doesn't relate to him in his day-to-day activities. Whereas health communication is one thing which relates to every man, every person, because it is concerned about his health. And we are all aware how health plays an important role in one's life, and any information regarding health always interests a person, whether be it growing of good hair on his scalp, or getting beautified, changing his color from dark to his obsession for becoming fair, or concerns about his heart, or even for that matter very serious illness like cancers. So health communication, health information is a very important primary thing that every human being relates himself to. So we can think of good communication which can establish and change the health needs of a person, and that can happen at different levels. For example, health campaigns affect the society. Health education affects the organization or a group of a community. Whereas at individual level, a doctor-patient relationship also establishes good health communication. So all these things play at individual level, at community level, and at large societal level. Basically, health communication can be either verbal or written communication. And it's all about study and practice of communicating promotional health information. Ultimately, the idea is to see that correct message is passed down to the individuals, and it brings a change in that person as far as his health is concerned. So that is what is the main thing, and to inform and also influence decisions and actions, not only of the individual but also of public. And the ultimate aim is to improve health. That is what is all about, health communication is all about. But as Dr. Uma Sharma just rightly mentioned, we need to have good knowledge about what we are going to communicate to the audience. That is the content, and then the way we communicate. These are two keys which she has overemphasized. First, the content should be good enough to attract the individuals to keep listening to that, and then the way you communicate, be it verbal or written or whatever form of communication, these two will get the message across, and that is what we are looking at, which means that we have to tailor the communication method or even the content according to the audience whom you are targeting, and also the situation in what the audience prevail. And ultimately, the health communication should be so effective that the public at large and the individual at large, particularly, they make better, healthier choices. That is what is all about. Yeah. So one is about the knowledge that the individual has got about health issues, and then how it tries to bring about or influence behavioral changes. And then also health communication can be used to demonstrate health practices. And also, most importantly, I feel this is the most important thing, that health communication should be good enough to argue against misconceptions and other, the strong beliefs that the patients have about health. So if we can overcome all these, then the effective health communication can be established between individuals and the society. Now we also have various medias through which health communication can be effectively done. It could be through broadcasting, or it could be telecasting, or it could be print media or electronic media, and many other such social media that we have now, very commonly used and very popular. The media can be different, but the communication and the content can be effectively delivered through all these media. And many a times, health communication should always be positive. A negative health communication will have a negative impact, and of course, positive message will bring in positive changes in the society. And as for example, we always see the two advertisements that are very commonly shown on the television or even the print media regarding campaigns against alcohol consumption and also against smoking. We know that these two are very societal evils, but though we keep communicating about this constantly, repeatedly, again and again, but what effect does it have on the communication, on the society? Very few, it becomes so common. Once you start telling the same thing again and again, over and over again, it becomes so common that people tend to neglect it. So we need to know how much we need to communicate, how many times we need to communicate, how to communicate, how effectively we need to communicate. So these are the things. And as I was just, Madam Uma Sharma was mentioning, communication is the key. Communication has made great leaders. Great leaders also, vice versa, they are great communicators. So both help each other. If he's a good communicator, he becomes a good leader. A good leader will have good communication as his qualities, which I'm supposed to, as a doctor, inculcate in all the students, that medical professionals and other health professionals. They should be good communicators, if you ask me. All these years, for example, the medical education system in India never ever dealt upon, teaching students, undergraduate students, about health communication. They were just, reading and then mugging up and then, presenting in the examinations and then passing out. And of course, they used to practice, and they were left to themselves. Nobody taught them how to communicate to the patients. Nobody had ever taught them as to how to get across the information that he has, that the knowledge he has, to the patients. So there could be many times that good rapport between a doctor and patient would not have been established, because if the doctor is not a good communicator, he cannot get things across the table. So health communication is a very important aspect. Now, the medical education, the National Medical Commission has realized its importance and has included health communication as a means of, as a subject in the competency-based medical education, which has been introduced last year. So health communication is a very important thing that undergraduate students will be exposed to. Simultaneously, even postgraduates also would be rendered to communicate things better. It becomes very difficult for doctors at situations like, when you want to break a sad news to the patient, that he has got tuberculosis, he has got cancer, or is there a patient just has a relative had a heart attack, but then how do we communicate that to the seriousness about the status of the patient? So, and even death of a patient, how do we communicate to them? So all these things are now being taught to students at undergraduate level. And the best person, the best communicator would definitely be successful in his career, successful in his practice, and also be a very popular doctor. So nowadays, training classes are being organized for healthcare professionals and also healthcare workers, and effective communication is the key to them. And there are also careers have been started in mass communication, especially in health communication also. So that is one thing. And thanks to our internet, our social media, and all these gadgets that that are available now, the gap they have utilized by our health professionals to a great extent. And I would take the example of COVID. Madam also referred to that. And during COVID, we could see so many aspects of health communication. Uh, Myself, Dr. Manjunath, Dr. Ramchandra, we were all on this different task force committees, and we have been in the media limelight, giving out information to many, to the society and community as at large. I would specifically mention about the way in which we could reach out to the patients and society at large. For example, telemedicine, which Dr. Uma Sharma mentioned, was not in the forefront at all, not in the limelight. It was there, but this time, due to COVID, telemedicine or telecommunication or teleconsultation was used more effectively. Even laws and government orders were promulgated to make it more effective. So the contact between doctors and patients were also minimized. COVID spread was minimized, and consultation between doctor and patient could be done through teleconsultations. So this is one great change that happened during COVID. Secondly, on the treatment aspect, in Karnataka, especially in Bangalore, the Karnataka government established what is called tele-ICU. Never before this concept was there. All the serious patients that were admitted in ICUs across the state were being monitored by specialists sitting in Bangalore. They used to, one-to-one, they used to talk to the treating doctor, and the treatment protocols, treatment regimens were discussed, and the status of the patient was discussed, and treatment modifications were done. So this tele-ICU, if you ask me, has saved many lives in Karnataka. Otherwise, probably it is one of the reasons why the number of deaths in Karnataka is much lower than the national average, and this tele-ICU has contributed a lot. So communication was the key here, and COVID has given us a lot of chances. Another important thing is, to quote my own example, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, right from day one, we had never closed the university at all. We took forward being a university. We had to educate, we had to train, we had to disseminate correct information to the society. So we took up this task of training COVID warriors and also healthcare professionals. And we could achieve this in a very short period of time. In 2 months, we could reach out to more than 2 lakh people, 2 lakh healthcare workers who were trained. So that itself is a commendable job. So that again happened due to communication, effective communication, during which we touched upon every type of every person. Like, for example, he could be a specialist, a super specialist, he could be a ICU specialist, he could be anesthetist, he could be a nurse, or he could be even a technologist, and even for that matter, a Group D employee. We also touched upon during health communication to allay the fears in police personnel, in BBMP workers, and many others, even for that matter, NSS volunteers, also students. So communication was very important, because the way the COVID was picturized and then told to the public, they were very scared. A sort of fear was instigated in every mind, so that people started becoming very cautious. It took a lot of time for us to overcome that and to pass on the message, right message. To quote a best example, how communication can be effective is, I would like to take HIV and AIDS as an example. You know that HIV and AIDS broke out in the world scenario somewhere in 1980s and in India in 1988. But it took more than 2 years, or even more than that, to effectively communicate and give the message to the public. It trickled down very slowly. In spite of the hoardings and other things that the print media and electronic media the government used, it took at least 2 years for a message to be conveyed to the public at large. But at the same time, when you think of COVID, it just took 2 months for the government to get the message across. And that was because of the better gadgets that we have, better media that we have, mass media that we can use, and how we could communicate, and the entire country knew about COVID. Everywhere, wherever two people or three of them meet, they were talking about COVID the last initial months. And that's how the communication went on. So communication played an important role. If you ask me, drugs on one side, hospitals on the other side, doctors on the other side, healthcare workers on one side, the other half of the management of COVID pandemic has been by health communication. Health communication was very important, very effective, and the way we could convey the message to the public. Three things. What we only mentioned about wearing mask, then washing your hands very frequently and not touching your face, and of course maintaining social distance. You ask anybody anywhere, even in the rural areas, they'll know about these three things. So that is how effectively the communication was sent across to all the society. So that is the most important thing. And another way of communication that COVID gave us was online classes. Being in the university, I should talk about this because we, at that point of time, the colleges were closed, the students went home, and there was no other way of engaging the students who were sitting at home. The parents also were worried, and we had to continue with our academic pursuit. The academic loss had to be minimized, and the only answer that we had at that point of time was online classes. Of course, online classes started from LKG to higher education as well, but in medical colleges and in nursing colleges and all the health science colleges, online classes were effectively used to at least cover the theory portions of all the students. So there, of course, it had its own limitations. According to the data that we have, 80% of students could take the benefit of online classes. So again, this is a method of communication. I was just wondering if this internet and all these other facilities were not there, what would happen at this point of time? We would have gone back 1 or 2 years, but we were able to keep up with the pace with the academics, I think because of online classes. Leave alone the fact that some students could not connect to the classes, some of them didn't have gadgets, that's fine. But majority could be communicated and always kept under watch. That's one thing. So online classes played an important role. Then the other important thing is, as task force, Dr. Manjunath will agree with me, we were involved in designing treatment protocols, and effectively these treatment protocols were conveyed. It went down to each single doctor who was treating COVID patients, and communication was the key. We could communicate to them through the print media, we could communicate through electronic media, and one-to-one communications happened. And what we decided today evening, next day morning, it was implemented in all the hospitals, and the best of treatment was available to all patients. So this is possible because of communication. Just think about the Spanish flu that happened almost a century ago. At that point of time, I really wonder how communication was established, how information was passed on to others. There could have been instances where many have died because of non-communication. And this time, communication has played an important role, especially health communication, in saving lives of COVID. So this is one, I couldn't take away myself from taking the example of COVID. Another important thing is the doctor community. There are more than 60,000 publications that have happened in the last 1 year on COVID alone. So you can imagine how the whole world was moved by this particular pandemic, and how each and every doctor tried to contribute something in COVID situation. So health communication has been in the forefront. This pandemic COVID has exposed the gaps in the health system, and it has also given us proper opportunities to communicate better. And it seems, Madam was mentioning about Anthony Fauci, whatever he spoke the previous evening, the same day we were getting the information. So that is the strength of communication. It can reach across the globe within no time, and proper communication yields, the outcomes are much far fetched than what we can imagine. The tangible benefits are much more than what anybody can imagine. So health communication through the mass media that we have, both of them cannot be separated. Both health communication and the communicating media cannot be separated at all. The marriage of convenience has to continue, and the benefits of these health communication as the human race has to continue to reap. And I'm sure health communication in the future also will play a big role in bringing about, changes in health policies, changes in health practices, changes in health attitude of the community at large. I could not overemphasize any more about these things, about health communication. And with this, I think I would like to conclude saying that communication is the key. Communication is the most important weapon that a human being has got, and we should use it effectively and more judiciously. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for emphasizing on the importance of communication, sir. It's fantastic to see how positive communication about the condition of the patient's health goes a long way in treating the patient. And I think the highlight of your session is when you said health communication should be good enough to argue against misconception and blind beliefs that the patient has. Thank you so much for your time, sir. That was Dr. S. Sachidananda, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Research Center, Karnataka. With that, we move on to the next speaker for today, Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath. Just like our previous speaker, this speaker too needs no introduction as his work speaks volumes. As we all know, Dr. C.N. Manjunath is a senior cardiologist and director of Sri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bangalore. He has introduced and practiced treatment first, payment next concept. Under his leadership, the hospital has treated 50 lakh patients, that's 50 lakh patients, and conducted 5 lakh operations or interventions in the last decade. He has shown the country that a government hospital can function like a 5-star corporate hospital. Even American President Barack Obama has applauded the Institute's work under the guidance of Dr. C.N. Manjunath. He has donated 2 acres of his land for establishing primary healthcare center in his native village, which is currently functioning. Dr. C.N. Manjunath, the director, has innovated a new technique of performing balloon mitral valvuloplasty in difficult cases. Now, if you don't know what this is, we're going to make it simpler. It's being called the Manjunath's technique as published by the American Journal. Now, because of this, the operation has become cheaper by 30 to 40%, which is a boon to poor patients of India and third world countries. He has the distinction of training American, UK, China, and French doctors at Sri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiology, Bangalore. He has performed more than 30,000 interventions, including coronary and non-coronary cases. He has conducted 20 angioplasties in just 5 days, and that too free of cost, which is a world record. When it comes to the awards, I have pages and pages. Let me just read out the main ones. Padma Shri Award 2007, Millennium Plaque of Honor by Honorable Prime Minister of India at the 103rd Indian Science Congress, Mysuru 2016, Man of the Year by Bangalore Press Club 2016, Lifetime Achievement Award by Indian College of Cardiology, again 2016, Distinguished Leadership Award by International Academy of Cardiovascular Sciences, Canada, Sri C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award 2001. He has also received doctorate from Karnataka State Open University, Mysore in 2011. He's also received honorary doctorate of science from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, honorary doctorate from Mangala University, Mangalore, honorary doctorate of science from Bangalore University, Bengaluru. This apart, he has won several national and international awards, including Lifetime Achievement Awards. Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for making time for us. The spotlight is all yours.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm audible and visible. Okay, thank you. So first of all, I'm very thankful to Bangalore University Department of Communication and Indian Association for Science Fiction Studies for this invitation to be amongst you this evening for a deliberation on the importance of health communication. I was just listening to both Dr. Uma Sharma's as well as Dr. Sachidanand's lecture. In fact, they have already made my job very simpler, how important is communication. So this is what differentiates animals from human beings, and communication is an art. It is lack of communication is the mother source of all controversies, confusion, and also misunderstanding. So communication is an art, it is a skill, and there is a very popular saying that people with excellent communication skill will become orators. So people without communication skill will become loudspeakers. That's what people say. So it is better to be a great orator than loudspeakers. And today, the concept of communication has totally changed. Earlier, it was very limited because of revolutions that has taken place in the media as well as in the technology. Revolution to such an extent, today you can reach any part of the world within a fraction of a second, and you can hold the entire world in your own hand phone or the mobile phone. So to that extent, there has been a significant development. But most importantly, how important is media with respect to health information? See, we as doctors, we as medical graduates, we know something about the diseases and something about the best practices ourselves or within our own fraternity. But to reach the mass, to reach a common man, I think without media, nothing works. So media, in fact, I want to congratulate media today, the role they have played in the control and containment and creating an awareness among the population across the globe. Today, if at all, if COVID is under control, the contribution of media is very much there. So that is an excellent thing. And can I share some slides? I will just show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, one second.
Prashant.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
So I think particularly health, diseases and media, as far as a common man perspective is concerned, they are interlinked and inseparable. Suppose, see, today we have print media, we have electronic media, we have a social media. And in fact, in this particular, all these aspects, they are also running a special column. In fact, we have a specified qualified specialist in reporting. They cover up only, carry stories about only the health bulletin. So in fact, I have come across many journalists, I have come across many media people who are covering this health and diseases. In fact, I'm amazed to know the amount of information, the amount of knowledge they possess about health as well as diseases. And to reach a common man, today the newspapers are carrying the special columns. Weekend, we are seeing the special columns on a particular diseases, about the diet, that is so important to, and also about the various lifestyle diseases. For example, every day we read about COVID, that's a different issue. But look at the amount of information they are going to provide to the common man. Ultimately, that's what we need to educate common man. We need to educate community about various diseases, maybe about the risk factors of various diseases, regarding the symptoms of various diseases, regarding what are the treatment facilities available or the treatment options available. Today, many people are so much updated about all these things thanks to media, because today media is almost as faster as than the light. So wherever sun and moon has reached, the media has reached because of various gadgets we have. And regarding the medical conferences, see, it is a common practice to have these medical conferences disease-wise. Annually, we conduct these medical conferences on a national basis, on an international basis, on a regional basis. During these medical conferences, which is spread over about 4 to 5 days, suppose if it is a dermatology conference, maybe a cardiology conference, maybe a physician conference, maybe a nephrology conference. See, during these 4 to 5 days, we see articles on the entire spectrum of this disease confined to a particular this thing. So that not only the delegates, of course, delegates, they are sitting inside the conference hall and they are deliberating. That's a different issue. So what is happening within the four walls of the conference or the auditorium, that is passed on to the public, passed on to the common man through the media. It's both electronic media and particularly print media carries during these conferences one separate page on the health subject itself. In fact, recently we had a Indian Science Congress that was about 2 years back at Bangalore. In fact, the amount of information we were getting in the print media, as to some extent in the electronic media, is amazing. So, I mean, subject-wise, I mean, regarding the various Nobel laureates lecture and their contributions in various fields, about the genes and genetic diseases, so about the various new drugs, the drug development, and that is the information they were passing on to the common man. And we always, most of the newspapers carry about the diet. What should be your diet? What is your healthy diet? What is going to be a balanced diet? So these are because prevention is better than cure and precaution is still the best. So this is where the role of media is important, and they have made it a point because most of the time people stay at home weekend, they read newspapers more exclusively. So in fact, they are not only educating the common man, they are also educating doctors. Suppose I am a cardiologist, if my interview they are carrying in the newspaper, see, other doctors will also be learning. So it is not just educating the community, it is educating the doctor profession and also the various disciplines of medical profession. And for example, yes, the diet, I mean, ideal diet should be rich in fiber, it should be low on salt, low on fat, and these are the, adulterated food we should avoid, and these are the type of salt-rich diet they should avoid. So, and also they run various videos also with respect to these things. Then, of course, about lifestyle diseases. Today we have a bunch of lifestyle diseases, maybe diabetes, hypertension, cancer, or stroke, and heart diseases. And today, one more added to the list of lifestyle disease is what is called screen addiction. I will come to that a little later. We are all addicted to the screen. See, on one hand, we have a pandemic of COVID-19. On the other hand, we have a pandemic of webinars. In fact, of course, I am really enjoying this program, no question about it. But in the last Sunday, I had to give 5 lectures for a different meetings. Had it been a physical, I would have been in only one place. So this is also, of course, these are all the darker side, maybe brighter side, that will come to that. Then another thing that fitness, regarding physical fitness, regarding various fitness activities, the exercise protocols, the exercise programs, is all created through the media. In fact, many of the channels, TV channels, run this exercise program early in the morning. So that is a great stimulus for people who are watching. They also realize that we should also exercise, because always great heart says, you walk 1 hour for me, I will continue to beat for the entire life. So you have to walk for your heart, you have to walk for your health. So fitness also, they will also educate what sort of exercise that they should do. So in fact, I have learned a lot of fitness lessons going through the media. Being a doctor cardiologist, we have all sorts of exercises. So the rhythmic exercises are good for the heart and for the health. That is what is called your aerobic exercises, like running, cycling, or maybe swimming. All those, jogging, and other type of exercises are bad, like weightlifting, too much of lifting a weight, or any exercise that creates tension in the muscle. So all sorts of information, because to reach a common man, the media is the only best source. Then respective World Health Day programs. See, almost every disease is celebrated as a World Health Day. For example, we have World Heart Day. and we have suppose World Cancer Day, we have World Hypertension Day, World AIDS Day, or World HIV Day. So on those days, see, there will be a lot of awareness program, both in the hospital and also various non-governmental agencies also will be running. There can be also some the free health camps they are running. All these are all reaching the people through the media, and under the cover of those World Health Day programs, there will be 1 or 2 day continuous write-ups about that disease, this which reaches the common man. Then we have online medical bulletins. Today we have online medical videos. See, these medical videos is a teaching material not only for, for the medical student, even for the specialist today. We have a videos on operations or robotic surgeries. We have a videos on our angiogram, angioplasty. Another thing is, see today, yes, an angiogram is done maybe in some other state or in some other district of the same state. See, on WhatsApp, we get the images within 1 minute. We can have a consultation and we can have, you can give your opinion. This is the beauty of this, communication or the media support. Then we have webinars and we have lectures. Professor Sachidanand was telling about these online lectures. Of course, working from home has become the order of the day because of COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, working from home also can create problems both at home, even with respect to their physical fitness, with respect to their mental stress. But you can't escape from all those things. Then we have health supplements. Each magazines sometimes they have a health supplements attached to the main this thing that covers. Every month they cover a different topic. 1 month they cover about heart, another month about cancer, then about the skin, sometimes about the kidney stone, sometimes about these old age problems or senility problems. So, and all these magazines are available in whenever you are traveling in an aircraft, whenever you are traveling in a railway station or in the train. So these are all, they are really educating a common man how to keep themselves healthy, or in case of problems, how to, what are the facilities available and how to have an access to these facilities. And sometimes doctor pages. For example, they run doctor pages, some newspapers, they interview a particular specialist, and also then his interview is carried. That goes as a strongest message to a common man. Then newer therapies and about new drugs. Suppose an hospital does a very rare surgery. It is shown on TV, it is shown on newspapers. So people will come to know, yes, there is a new therapy that is available, a new treatment that is available. So in that way, they are guiding the common man also, and general practitioners. See, whatever information that comes on newspaper or comes on TV is not just for a common man or for a community, even for the doctors also. Sometime in a multi-speciality hospital, what is happening in one department, other department doesn't know, because they are working from morning till evening. Then when something comes in the newspaper and the media, then they will ask, oh my God, in our own hospital, such a new therapy is being done, or such a new procedure is done, some new innovation is going on. And also another thing, whatever this sort of positive things that are coming, it's a great stimuli for the younger generations. So it also, those who are studying in class 10 or class 12, that is going to be the turning point in their career. So that is stimulates. So I want to become an engineer, and I want to become a doctor, I want to be a mathematician, I want to be a social worker. In fact, somebody was asking, you just tell me one field where there is no competition. In my opinion, there is only one field there is no competition, is social service, because there is virtually no competition. So these are all great motivational things for the younger generations. And also about narcotics and drug abuse today. So I think this sensitizes the parents also. See this narcotics and abuse, because they virtually, demolish their families, demolish their careers. So narcotics and drug abuse, lot of articles are coming in the newspaper, shown on the television also, online. So that sensitizes. So in fact, media is not just a communicator, but a sensitizer. And of late, it has become a sanitizer also, because it is giving lot of cure to various diseases. Then we have, yes, doctor interviews I have been telling. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, we had, in fact, we have learned more and more about COVID-19 pandemic only through media, that is both print media and as well as through electronic media and online, all. Because another thing, in these days of modernization and digitalization, everybody is busy. Of course, now a lot of newer things have happened on media. It's not just newspapers. We have, news online editions are there. Offline edition is always conventional. We have an online editions. We have various pages and various. So doctor interviews are also extremely important. In fact, very many TV channels have a dedicated program on a specific day at a specific time. So that is highly going to be educated. In fact, a naturopathy is also, today we are talking about holistic approach, whether it is allopathy, whether it is homeopathy, or whether it is naturopathy. So they are, to some extent, are getting integrated. And various, interviews are being given on the channels with respect what should be the diet, what should be the exercise, what are the goods, and what are the do's and don'ts about a particular diet or about a particular health best practices. Regarding social media, yes, social media, yes, virtually revolutionize our dissemination of information. But again, it is a double-edged weapon. And of course, print, there is lot of internal censorship for your print and electronic media to some extent. But as far as social media is concerned, there is no proper regulatory or semi-regulatory internal. I am not talking about censorship and all, because lot of social, see, we are in an era of what is called idiot syndrome. Well, in fact, this is very relevant to the doctors. Idiot syndrome is internet-derived information obstructing treatment. So a lot of patients will come with this downloaded message from the internet and places before you, doctor, yes, these are, and they go on asking, I want this treatment. No, if the, so they try to confuse the doctor, as in fact, this is one of the stumbling block today for giving an appropriate, optimal, appropriate, proper treatment, because anything you want, it's available on social media. Very difficult to know what is genuine, what is not genuine. And see, in fact, just I will give a couple of examples. One patient came and they were asking about a procedure. Any surgery, high risk surgery or high risk intervention carries 1 or 2% risk. We need to explain. And see, a moment we started telling, they started recording on their mobile phone. Then, so it creates earlier, then it can create confusion, controversies, and maybe consumer this thing and all. So another thing, you can see some social media messages, particularly on the WhatsApp messages. There is no need to worry about cholesterol. You can eat any food you want. And this is a message from American Heart Association. What is that? So some people are carried away by that. So a lot of fake thing and misguiding thing and a lot of mischievous things are happening. On the other day, about a week back, there was a fake message on social media. A lot of people are asking me regarding COVID-19. This is a breaking news from World Health Organization. There is no need to test COVID-19. There is no need for any treatment. And there is no need to wear a mask. So this is where probably we have to look at various angles. Social media is fantastic. So today, WhatsApp, for example, as far as medical profession is concerned, fantastic. ECG is taken in a remote place, and ECG is passed on to a specialist for opinion. So we give opinion within, in fact, during this pandemic, the media, social media, particularly the WhatsApp, or maybe our telemedicine, that's what Professor Sachidanand was talking about, the tele consultation or tele ICU consultation and video calls have tremendously boosted the morale of the COVID-19 patient, because this is such a particular disease. I mean, very unfortunate. People almost stigmatize this particular COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, now people have realized it is not a stigma, because almost till August, I could say, it was taken as a stigma, and people, in fact, we talk about social distancing. In my opinion, it is social distancing is a wrong terminology. Physical distancing is the correct terminology. Socially distancing means you are socially isolating them. You are not talking to them. You are not sympathizing them. So physical distancing is the correct term. And then, yes, as part of the task force decision, then we made a rule because the attenders cannot get into the ICU, to the COVID ICU. So the staff nurse on the duty will make a video call and connect the video call between the patient and the patient attenders. So that is how that sort of distress was minimized, and they were also, I mean, emotionally addressed. So social media has a definite role to play, but again, one should be aware of fake messages and fake newses, very, very important. And it is a cutting edge technology, but it is also a double-edged sword. See, these are sort of articles regarding COVID, because initially we thought COVID is purely a respiratory disease. Then, yes, now we know it can affect the heart, it can affect the brain. And see, even as doctors, we are learning all these things from the media, because there is no time for us to read it, because we have traveled 9 months with the COVID. We have traveled nearly 9 months. We are into the 10th months of coronavirus journey, and we have learned lessons, and we are still going to learn lessons. So initially, you look at the symptoms. Initially, we were just fever, cough, breathlessness. Today, the media has driven this point deeply into the community. Loss of taste and smell is also a symptom. Even breathlessness with diarrhea is also a symptom. So where else, how can reach, I mean, 700, million, I mean, 700 crore population. So 7 billion population, you cannot reach by any method other than media. So today, everybody, in fact, it has sensitized the treating doctors also, that these are the important symptoms. And even stress management stories have been carried away. So, and the various panel discussions have highlighted about the diseases. Of course, we are in the amidst of flattening of pandemic. That's a different issue. But every week, or whenever the conferences are held, the electronic media is and both print media, social media are carrying a lot of information to a common man as well as to the medical fraternity about these diseases. It's not just about the risk factors, also about the management, about the precautions and preventive measures. So this is all can reach only through the media. So for example, see, we wanted to, in fact, we are starting facilitating heart attack treatment at various taluk levels. Nearly we have roped in about 45 taluks across the state, and Jaideva is going to be the hub center. And we are going to facilitate and monitor the treatment of heart attack patients in the semi-urban and rural area through a telemedicine or an app-based system. And see, this particular article came in a newspaper. They have highlighted the symptoms of heart attack. So that's what a common man wants. See, of course, he may not be interested to know the technical aspects of treatment. See, it's not just chest pain is not the only symptom. Even burning sensation in the central portion of the chest, or any pain that is referred to the jaw, neck, or upper back. or sometimes an heart attack can mimic like gastritis. So this is what this newspaper has carried away. So that is the fantastic message that goes down the community and create an awareness. So feeling weak or lightheaded, I mean, all those things, profuse sweating, vomiting, along with the pain in the stomach region. A common man thinks pain in the stomach region is always gastritis. But we know as cardiologists, many patients can present with all those things. So these are some of the important things that can happen. And we have, in fact, the average lifespan of a modern day doctor is reduced by about 10 years. There are various studies coming up because of this pressure of this social media and internet. So this is one average lifespan of a modern day doctor is coming down by 8 to 10 years because of this, because they go on asking questions, they go on doing this. See, this is heart disease rampant even in villages. Earlier, heart attack was thought to be a disease of elite class, was disease of a urban sector. Today, heart attack is equally prevalent among the rural people, even among the Group D workers. So this is the sort of an information, and it is useful in coming out with a proper public health plan. Air pollution increases heart attack. So see, these are some of the fantastic health messages that is going through, health communication. See, initially it was thought air pollution means it only causes your respiratory problems. It causes only bronchitis. It can cause even some lung diseases. Today, air pollution is an emerging risk factor for heart attack. Air pollution is a new tobacco. Air pollution is a new public health problem. So that means people will be aware, oh, air pollution, I have read an article in the newspaper, and also I have heard a doctor interview that air pollution. So at least they take some preventive measures, and also it sensitizes the policymakers to see how best you can reduce the air pollution. Because today, nearly in India, 13 lakhs people die in India due to air pollution alone, because particulate matter less than 2.5 gets into the arteries and can cause. See, this is one. Heart attack initially thought it was a disease of older people. Today in India, 25% of heart attack occurs below 35 years of age. Young Indians are vulnerable to heart attack. So this is our, see, and Jaydeva, every month we admit about 150 young heart attack patients, youngest being 21-year-old medical student and 20-year-old engineering student, and some even 16-year domestic worker. So all these things will really create a great awareness in the community, and this is how we can reach a common man or a community and the other professionals about various health aspects, whether it could be a new disease or maybe a new aspects of a old disease. All those things can be. Another thing is, yes, sometimes newspaper carry doctors, they collect questions from the public, and a doctor answers, and it goes across. So in fact, it is a single person might have asked the question, but answer is going to lakhs and lakhs of people. Question is from a single person, but answer is going around the community. This is many newspapers are running the doctor's column also. This is all about doctor's column. In fact, the role of media, I want to really congratulate the role of media in the control and in the understanding and disseminating all aspects of COVID-19 pandemic, whether it is connected with the disease or whether it is connected with the laboratory facilities or with the control and containment strategies and maybe medical management, everything. Today, yes, vaccines. See, in fact, we are looking every day on the news channel. In fact, both Indian national TV channels and also international TV channels are running a specific program daily with the experts from vaccine technology on the vaccines and giving an information. Because for example, you look at this lab diagnosis for COVID-19 pandemic, RT-PCR test, rapid antigen test. So it is in fact, I'm amazed some of the reporters have written an article on that, even as if it's a thesis. In fact, I have appreciated it is both technically correct, medically correct, and even conveying the message to people in the simplistic terms. Suppose this rapid antigen test, what is its sensitivity and specificity? There's 50% sensitive, and RT-PCR is a gold standard. Then this antibody test to know, how many percentage of people have been exposed to this infection. Then the importance of quarantining, importance of containment strategies, and treatment strategies. See, even many doctors have learned about the treatment of COVID-19 pandemic only through media, or through the online media, or through Google. So all those things have contributed a lot to the control and containment of pandemic, and also understanding of various things. See, another only problem is, yes, the mobile phone. See, the mobile phone today is a fantastic gadget. There's no question about it, because we have everything in that. And today, school children, earlier what was happening, the mobile phone are outside the school. Today, school is inside the mobile phone. So this is one problem. And screen addiction is a problem. I'll come back to that. Yes, if 2 hours, 3 hours screen addiction, seeing the screen is okay. Coming back to the vaccines, there is a rat race going on in the vaccine. So in fact, there is a very popular saying that vaccine has to be tested first on people who are talking too much about the vaccine. If they survive, vaccine is safe. If they die, country is safe. That's what some people have said. So lot of rat race is going on. Hopefully in the first quarter of next year, vaccines is likely to be available. But the amount of information the media is giving about vaccine is fantastic. It's not just for community. It's not just for common man. It is for researchers. They are stimulating the research, and also they are updating the specialist doctors about vaccines. So what is the side effects of vaccine? What is the safety of vaccine? What is the efficacy of vaccine? And what is going to be the cost? So these are the tremendous information this particular media channel or the communication is providing. Then regarding mask and physical distancing, because I think this is also, we have seen today, we don't have any vaccine actually. We are waiting eagerly for that. It's just around the corner. Maybe within few weeks we might get. Today, we have only 3 vaccines. That is only the best vaccine today is wearing a mask. That is the best vaccine. And media also, maybe some people think too much was shown on COVID pandemic in TV, but for a thick-skinned community, that is required. As a thick-skinned community, it is very much required, because unless a fear is created, other people will be casual and careless. And in fact, we are talking about second wave. Second wave is, as per the epidemiologist perspective, is likely to hit somewhere in end of January or beginning of February, because decline has started. If you look at the pattern of spread and the pattern of second wave across European nations and America, after a gap of 60 days after the decline, again it raises. It's basically because people will become casual and careless and complacent, and that is how. So this is how the media is sensitizing about all those things. So yes, these are some of the new lessons this pandemic has given. We are having online courses, we have online training, the webinars, then telemedicine and live transmission. See, that is another fantastic concept, live transmission. We do a procedure in Jaideva Hospital that will be telecasted to United States for a meeting. So we learn from each other. From remotely, we learn from each other. So live transmission is one of the latest thing that has happened that is the best method of communication. You need not go to a particular country or a particular remote place to know about these things. So procedure is done, operations are done Dr. Ramchandra is going to speak on that. Is robotic surgery, is a specialist in robotic surgery. He does robotic surgery that is telecasted to some other auditorium in a conference meeting. So that's what it's happening. Then we have teleconsultation. Teleconsultation was, in fact, it got a boost during this pandemic. And people are, because, and earlier tele-prescriptions were not legally valid. Because of pandemic, Government of India has come out with a rule that tele-prescription is legally valid document. They can show to the pharmacy and get the medicine. So also teleradiology. So these are all tremendous advances that has really revolutionized the understanding of various health aspects. And it's not just community to community, even doctors are getting educated because of all those things. So these are the, I will not get into that. I have taken enough time. I again thank Professor Ravi for this invitation for addressing all those who have logged in on this international conference on science communication. So communication is the mother source of understanding. Communication is the mother source of understanding. Today, many so-called excellent, talented people have gone down the drain because of lack of communication. And the way we communicate is important. And the way, because the communication skill and the communication language has got a lot of healing effect on the patients. So the way we communicate, even they are already in distress, you use some very pleasant humming words. You use some pleasant healing words. See, suppose is no more. For example, we are very sorry, is no more. No, he has died. See the difference. So this is how the communication mode is important. Your body language also is driven by communication skill. So all those things. Anyway, it's a fantastic meeting. I really enjoyed listening to my earlier speakers, Professor Sachidanand, as well as Dr. Uma Sharma, and my special thanks to Dr. Venugopal, the Honorable Vice Chancellor. Is always encourages all these meetings. So communication, yes, I think most important thing is as far as health information is concerned, it is the only channel which can educate common man, which can inspire common man for a healthy life. Because today, lifestyle, 50% of deaths in India are due to lifestyle diseases. So 25% of deaths alone is due to heart diseases. So awareness is very much important. And today, both print media, electronic media, online media are really doing an excellent job. And they are also trying to promote health of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Firstly, we are truly sorry to hear that digital media is taking away a decade from the doctor's life, and that's really, really sad. While on the other hand, it was awesome to see you sum up the importance of communication in the healthcare sector by saying lack of communication is the mother source of controversy and misunderstanding. Also, thank you for bringing up social media, medium of communication, a double-edged sword, as you rightly mentioned, that lacks regulation. Thank you for all these meaningful insights. That was Dr. C.N. Manjuna, the director of Sri Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bangalore. Our next speaker for today is Dr. C. Ramachandra. He hails from a humble farmer's family background, possesses a brilliant academic and professional record in medicine. An oncosurgeon par excellence, Dr. C. Ramchandra is currently functioning as director of premier regional cancer center called Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, Cancer Research and Training Center, Bengaluru, Karnataka, that has a staff strength of over 1,000 employees. He has a strong conviction and commitment to provide services to the cancer patient. He is aptly recognized as diligent, reliable, and hardworking doctor who is easily approachable, a professional keeping patients' best interest in mind all the time with excellent interpersonal skills. Dr. C. Ramchandra has been a part of many research organizations and involved with many research projects as principal investigator and as co-principal investigator in collaboration with research organizations such as ICMR, DBT, DST, and other professional organizations, both at the national and an international level. Many clinical trials have been successfully conducted under his guidance and has been recognized as the guide by Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore. Recognizing his hard work and unselfish service in the field of oncology, Dr. C. Ramchandra has been awarded with prestigious Karnataka Nada Chetana by the Government of Karnataka Award of Excellence during Bangalore Health Festival in June 2018, Nada Prabhu Kempegowda Award in 2018 by Government of Karnataka. He's also won University Gold Medal for securing highest marks and first rank in MS General Surgery by the Bangalore University. In addition to this, Dr. C. Ramchandra has won several awards such as Rotary Gold Medal, Best Poster Award presented to him on different occasions as a testimony to his unwavering devotion to duty. Thank you so much for making time for us, sir. The spotlight is all yours.
Good evening. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers. Thank you, Dr. B.K. Ravi, for inviting me at this forum. After listening to the legends in this, the field of medicine, Dr. C.N. Manjunath and Dr. Sachidanand, should I speak? And this the thing is crossing my mind now. And I listened to all three talks, Dr. Uma Sharma also, respected Vice Chancellor Sri Venugopal and of Bangalore University, and Dr. Sachidanand, Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University, and all the distinguished faculty and audiences. Mass communication is a term actually is otherwise called as public engagement. In fact, in science is a term covers a broad spectrum activities undertaken by the scientific community. The precise definition actually is constantly evolving to incorporate new technologies in this. Dr. C.N. Manjunath is mentioning about this issue. One example I'll give you. Today there is a COVID pandemic. Imagine there was a plague pandemic and a swine fever pandemic. Do you think the message was, able to reach the common man in a village? Today, even a common man sitting in a village can tell you about the details of COVID pandemic. That is because of mass media. Whereas, same thing about 50 years back, there was a pandemic of plague in India. People have died because they never had any information about it. Because they couldn't reach. Those days in early 60s, the only common mode of mass communication was radio. And unfortunately, in a village, there used to be 1 or 2 radios. And slowly over a period of time, after 75 and nearly 80s, the television came, that too was black and white. Even with that, there was so much of information. Trust me, in 1984, I went to a neighboring city to watch the Olympics. Of the Olympics in 1984 was done. I think P.T. Usha also was there in that. We went to watch about that. There was an Indian hockey team also. So why I'm saying, because the mass media is so much important. Coming back to oncology, over a period of time, one of the success stories of mass media is the message reaching the common man or the public. The aim of mass media, the success of mass media lies in communicating to the public. It means to say you have to attract considerable population of public to listen to this. Afterwards, slowly after the radio and television, many of the modes of mass communication came. Another most commonly reached communication was video. One of the success stories was Ebola, wherein a nice video was made about Ebola, and they were able to reach the common man, especially in African countries. It was a real success story where a lot of people have survived because of this. And then came online. Today you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook, and you have email, you have social media, Twitters, and whatnot. And these are all actually, you should think of the positive points. Probably the whole world should thank the mass media, because we are able to reach people. There are negative points, I'm not saying no. See, especially in the paper and the television media, there are negative things also covered. In the beginning, actually, when I used to give my lectures or give my opinions on COVID, I used to tell that, the media is very strong, they're threatening people. But fortunately, they were right in doing that. Otherwise, this message wouldn't have reached a common man. They wouldn't have been so much aware. You couldn't have brought down the incidence of COVID so fast. Coming back to the success story in oncology, one of the success stories was when I joined the Oncology Institute in 1994, the incidence of cervical cancer, that's a uterine cancer in common man term, was 28 per lakh. The breast cancer was about 24 per lakh. Today, the cervical cancer is on the verge of eradication. Can you believe this? This is thanks to the mass media, wherein they can reach the common population. They have attracted the attention of the common man in the public. Whereas the breast cancer is steeply increasing today. And this is again, the reasons are, I'll show you in some of my future slides, why the breast cancer is increasing, because obesity was not heard of in the past. Today, about nearly 21% of the population in the country is obese. Have you heard of the bariatric surgery? Now, I think everybody knows bariatric surgery today, robotic and laparoscopic surgery. Whereas 30 or 40 years back, bariatric surgery was actually unheard of. That is how it's been evolving. And these are all the information which should give to the mass, the public, so that they'll be aware. They should avoid what kind of food, they should eat what kinds of food. All these things are basically because of mass communication. Another important thing is, Dr. C.N. Manjunath was talking about the robotic surgery. In the past, when I joined surgery, that used to be an era of open surgery. Then came laparoscopic surgery. Then came, now it's robotic surgery. How do you convince a common man? How to reach a common man that which surgery he has to undergo? In Bangalore, suppose if I am doing a robotic surgery, it means to say in a district place, he advises a open surgery. It means to say that the science has evolved over a period of time. Even the common man should know that robotic surgery is the treatment of choice for particular disease. So these are all things possible only through mass media. I have some slides. If you can permit me, I'll talk on this. Another important thing is, before that, have you heard of a telesurgery? And this is a miracle probably is going to be in future. Telesurgery is nothing but, basically I'm a trained robotic surgeon. Suppose a rectal cancer or a colon cancer. From America, I can get a call wherever I'm sitting. I can download the software. From sitting on here in Kidwai, I can operate in America. That's called telesurgery. It is going to be in future. This is mainly and only because of the media, mass media communication. And the people who are experts in particular fields, suppose they want to do a very difficult, like Dr. Manjunath technique, they've told, in cardiac, the stenting, where they have a difficult stenting, they can call Dr. C.N. Manjunath, download the app in the phone or a laptop, whatever he has in the office. You can do a stenting from here. Sitting in India, you can operate in America. That's called telesurgery. It is going to be in future. Likewise, there are so many advances over a period of time. It has come, and it's going to be a boon to the society. Next slide. I'll put some slides. No, this is old one. Article 51, it's incorporated in the Constitution of India, way back, where it has been clearly written, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and information. The advantages of the current mass media is the bilateral conversation, wherein they can interact, interfere, they can listen. Whereas you go back to the TV and radio alone, it is only one-way traffic, where they can convey the message. Today, where the people can contribute and always tell, they can always contradict, you can adopt what is the best method for a particular disease or a particular information, or for that matter, anything. The public engagement, actually, it's a broad terminology. The myriad ways in which the activity and benefits of higher education and research can be shared with public. Engagement is by definition a two-way process involving interaction, listening, with the goal of generating mutual benefit. The public engagement involves specialists in higher education, listening to, developing their understanding of, and interacting with non-specialists. The public includes individuals and groups who do not currently have a formal relationship with an higher education institution through teaching, research, or knowledge transfer. The Research Council UK Public Engagement concorded its definition in 2010. It involves many definitions like participating in festivals, working with museums, galleries, science centers, and other cultural venues, creating opportunities for public to inform the research questions being tackled, presenting to the public, example like public lectures or talks, involving the public as researchers, engaging with the young people to inspire them about research, contributing new media, enable discussion forums, open online courses like e-learning methods, etc. The importance of public engagement in science is 2014 Research Excellence Framework. 20% of the overall score to impact and effect on change or benefit to the economy, society, culture, public policy or service health, the environment or quality of life beyond academia. Institutionalization of public engagement in many higher educational institutes, utilization of digital and social media. What are the benefits of this? Like informed citizenry, generating new ideas, increasing chances of research being adopted, increasing public trust, answering ethical research questions, fostering global communication, enabling shared experiences and methodology, standardization of strategy and generating global viewpoint. For example, the most important thing of present day communication, mass communication is science oriented. Why I'm saying, because suppose somebody says, if they will come and tell me, Ayurveda, I've done a surgery on a patient with cancer of the stomach. He says, no, I want to consume Ayurveda. No, I'm not against Ayurveda or any other thing or naturopathy. What is important here is it a science-based study done? Was there a randomized study done? Or is it something like an evidence-based study? So the mass communication should be evidence-based, it should be science-based. Some of the success stories in this mass media are tobacco use. In the past, if you see like how cervical cancer was brought down through mass media, even the tobacco consumption about 30, 40 years back, the tuberculosis was a major issue those days. And the anti-tobacco statements are made people to brought down, especially in early 60s, where the smoking tobacco was really brought down across the world. And in India, another important thing is a smokeless tobacco. In fact, recently we concluded a meeting under the chairmanship of the Honorable Chief Secretary, wherein they planned, including me, I'm a member, we have planned to ban the smokeless tobacco and implement what are the successful steps in this through the mass media. Most important story is vaccination adoption. Like how Dr. C.N. Bhajana told about the COVID pandemic and COVID vaccination. If we go back to the history, in the past, there are many vaccines are successful. It has been the successful story only because of mass media, especially measles, mumps, polio. I don't know whether seen polio, how nicely it has been popularized through media. They've taken the celebrities like Amitabh Bachchan, have taken celebrities like Rajkumar, Dr. Rajkumar in Karnataka, and the regional actors and the national actors were taken, and they've adapted so nicely. And today, you rarely heard of, and probably it's been eradicated, I can say, polio. That is a success story of vaccination. Hopefully, same thing happens to COVID also. Unfortunately, for COVID, there are a lot of hurdles and there are a lot of myths about it. And people think that it will be 100% success story. The efficacy, as of now, it is varies between 30 to 90%. What will happen to the remaining people? Is it a long-lasting immunity, or is it only 5 months, 6 months of immunity? Do we need a booster dose? Do we need a successful or 2 or 3 booster doses? These are all things probably it can communicate through mass media. It's going to be a big question mark. The maternal and child health mortality. The improvement of maternal and child health, especially in India, a developing country like India, and even now today, it is actually a disaster in African countries. Slowly it's improving there also, wherein through the mass media, they could attract the attention of the public so that they brought down the maternal and as well the child health, the mortality rate to such an extent today we are in par with anywhere in the world. I told you about the radio and television. Apart from that, the other ways of reaching the mass health was through surveys. The advantage of survey is a bilateral dialogue. When you survey a public, the common man can interact, he can listen, he can talk to you, he can tell his problem, and you can always put back the questions, you can answer also. This is an advantage of survey compared to television and radio where it's a one-way talk. Today, email, social media, online campaigns, and for that matter, Twitter, Facebook, so many other things, WhatsApp, everything has been successful. It is helping the people to get the information at the right time. In COVID-19 science communication, the pivotal moment for trust in science, let's not waste it. Careful to communicate transparent information about our capabilities, uncertainties, disagreement, agreement. But to tell you, we should thank the media for controlling the COVID. But for them, it wouldn't have been possible. And the India has controlled so well across the world. It has been done. It's a great success story. Now, more than ever, we must show our commitment to humanity, honesty, and public good. Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, it has been another success story wherein the cancer detection activities were introduced way back in 1980s. Then the founder director, Dr. Krishna Bhargava. It consists of a base unit and a mobile unit attending camps. We conduct about approximately 67, many times 10 to 12 camps in a month. We have 2 buses. I will tell you in the future slides. It is loaded with all investigations. We go to the places, we put all kinds of hoardings and signboards or on the bus, and we are planning to put a TV to run a video so that people can see and listen to them, and they can know what is right, what is wrong. Especially the focus mainly is on increasing breast cancer. Recently, to tell you, I operated on a young girl who was 19 years old with a bilateral breast cancer. So this I'm trying to tell you why, because this should circulate the people that only in the past only 56-year-old people used to get breast cancer. It is not so. Because of the lifestyle habits, today breast cancer is increased and it is very common among 20s and 30 years of age. And especially people who have a strong family history and people who have really an obese personality, they are more prone to develop breast cancer also. Cervical cancer, and another important concern, we are going to eradicate probably over a period of time, especially Kerala today is on the verge of eradication, the first state to have probably. And the head and neck cancer, especially oral cancer, it is mainly because of the smokeless tobacco. And people in our country, especially in rural population, why rural? Even in cities, you can see people using kaini, jarda, pan parag and all. And it is really detrimental, and it is actually a really enemy. It should be banned. See, we have a state-of-the-art bus which costs about more than 2 crores, donated by Bharat Electronic Limited. It is equipped with a digital X-ray, ultrasound, a blood analyzer, a colposcope, and an ECG machine where you can collect a pap smear and clinical examination. We can do a digital X-ray and an ultrasound. Also, we have another one donated by the American Canada Association, where they've donated approximately a digital mammogram and complete equipment worth about nearly 1.5 crores is donated to Kidwai. And these 2 buses will go with a team of people to the all rural areas. All the hoardings are put on that, like suppose a long-lasting fever, a weight loss. Suppose a person suddenly loses weight or blood vomiting, blood in the motion, or for that matter, any of these symptoms, a chronic cough which is not settling down at treatment. These are all the warning signals of cancer where we can circulate through the mass media so that it will reach the common man, so that they will learn to reach the people so that we can detect early, and early detection leads to cure. The cancer awareness programs are conducted very frequently through the various institutions and organizations. Training programs for NSS volunteers. Dr. B.K. Ravi, in fact, he organized one camp. We were very happy to deliver our contribution to that. We trained the ASHA workers, Sri Shakti workers, Arogya Bharati, and conducted periodically all these programs. The awareness programs are conducted at high schools, colleges, corporate organizations, through the Lions clubs and Rotary clubs also. Lots of education material has been developed by the institution in the form of pamphlets. This is something I would like to tell you. In the past, probably about 25 years back, the main mode of spreading the awareness was through the pamphlets, flip charts, hoardings, and through the video channels. Today, of course, the social media is very strong. We can also circulate through that. Even today, we circulate the pamphlets of the warning signs of cancer to the public. Couple of short documentary movies have been developed with the name of creating awareness. These are all some of this. I hope, I'm putting it in Kannada. I'm not wrong in that. This is as it is we have taken. This is a warning about the environmental pollution, the unsafe sex, and early marriage and early, childbirth, multiple partners. Unsafe sex actually led to the development of the cervical cancer along with maintaining bad hygiene. This is one of the warning signs. And exposure to the especially smokeless tobacco, we call it as jarda, BD, cigarette, whatever it is, and chemicals and consumption of fatty food. All these things we put hoardings and on the buses also, as well as the TV, and we circulate the hoardings to the common man. This is something about the food habits. Can you see the pizzas and burgers? It's not actually an Indian tradition, basically. The Indian tradition, the Indian food is time-tested, seasonal, and that's the best in the world, probably. And even the organic, cultivation is actually gone down. We are using the artificial chemicals and artificial manures and fertilizers also. And something surprising was the increasing in the incidence of female smoking and female alcohol consumption. This is actually one of the reasons of developing the breast cancer at a very early age. Not only that, we are not, India was known to have malnutrition in the past when we were students 30, 35 years back. Today, obesity is a major problem in India. These are all the various diseases wherein we get the warning signals about the oral cancer, about the stomach cancer. In fact, the South India, the Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai statistics show we have a higher incidence of stomach cancer compared to North India. In North India, where the Ganges across the river Ganga, where the incidence of gallbladder cancer is very high. These are all possible only through mass media. The esophagus cancer and the lung cancer and the throat cancer here. This is about pap smear. We teach them, advise them about how to take pap smear. We can take a pap smear. Every woman who is 40 and above should undergo a mammogram. And the people who are exposed to the family history, especially if they have a daughter whose mother is a breast cancer patient, they should undergo a test, the consultation with the oncologist at 18 years of age. And every 3 years, they should do what is known as the cell breast examination. I'll show you in the next slide. And they should also undergo a mammogram after 40 years. Below 40 years, there is no role for screening mammogram. So like that, the pap smear also should be done after the 35 years of age, and this is done annually once. These are all the warning signals about the breast cancer, like the thickened skin of the breast, then the retracted nipple, and the blood stained fluid from the nipple, and the pudy orange, we call it, the enlarged breast. This is something called as cell breast examination, where we teach the women to do themselves. And this we put through the media also, so that the early detection leads to cure, so that they will not come back with later stages. This is the oral cancer. These other cancer signals. So prevention is better than cure. So I always insist on telling prevention should be given more concern. Unfortunately, in India, we are not, earmarked any money for prevention and screening. In future days, probably in budget of the national and state budget, they should earmark some money for screening so that we can detect early. Screening means screening the normal people where it detect early. Thank you very much. I hope I have not taken much time. I think the last sentence should be told to all youngsters these days. Put the things back where you found them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we're so glad to see so many success stories due to mass media. And as you said, the key word is public engagement. And it's amazing to see technology at your fingertips that can travel to every nook and corner of our country. And we really do hope that media will continue to do a fantastic job to ensure that this news reaches the right members. The highlight of your session is all about humanity and how members from NSS to college students to corporates can come together to eradicate cancer. Prevention is better than cure. We will surely remember that, sir. Thank you so much for your inputs. And this was a very informative session. Thank you so much. With that, it is now time for the presidential remarks. To give a brief introduction, Dr. Venugopal KR is currently the Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University. He was former principal, University Visvesvaraya College of Engineering and Bangalore University, Bangalore. He obtained his Bachelor of Engineering from University of Visvesvaraya College of Engineering. He received his Master's degree in Computer Science and Automation from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He was awarded PhD in Economics from Bangalore University and PhD in Computer Science from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. He has a distinguished academic career and has degrees in electronics, economics, law, business finance, public relations, communication, industrial relations, computer science, and journalism. He has authored 77 books on computer science and economics, which includes Petrodollar and the World Economy. C Aptitude, Mastering C, Microprocessor Programming, Mastering C++, and the like. During his 3 decades of service at the UVCE, he has over 644 research papers to his credit. His research interests include computer networks, parallel and distributed systems, digital signal processing, and data mining. I now hand it over to Dr. Venugopal KR, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bangalore University, Bangalore IEEE Fellow, and ACM Distinguished Educator to deliver the presidential remarks.
Good evening to all of you. So I've been working since morning and this is the last session, and I congratulate the Department of Mass Communication for making it happen. I was listening to all the 4 speakers, Uma Sham, Sachidanand, Sri Ramachandra, Dr. C.N. Manjunath. They are all experts. They are all legendary figures. They become legendary figures. So when they have spoken, I think I have very little to speak about communications. But being a student of mass communication, I have always said that health communication is quite important. You all know that in the last 8 months, all the pages of the newspaper and the media, whether it is a print media, whether it is a social media, whether it is instant media, 90% of the communication is health communication. So if you have seen why newspapers are not doing well or why the TV channels are doing well, it is because of health communication. Everybody is telling us how to be healthy. Everybody is telling us how to have higher immune system. Everybody is talking about how to prevent ourselves from getting infected. And if you see the newspapers, there is nothing else to read except health communications. So what does this mean? It means that we must have a course, we must have a PhD degree in health communication, you must have a bachelor's degree, and you must also have a master's degree. Or perhaps you can start a department and faculty in health communication. Why is you are talking about disease? It is not just talking about disease or preventing about disease. Even if you talk about soaps, lipsticks, or whatever you want, it is about the communication which you're saying. We get the most important advertising figures to sell your products and how to use these products. So when you see a variety of products, most of the products which you are doing, it is for our own body. Whether it is a food dieting system, whether it is a hygiene system, whether it is the system to keep ourselves healthy, whether it is the system to improve our immunity, whether it is what type of food, this is what the entire world is revolving on. So you can bring health communication in any manner you want. And think in mass communication is health communication. Then the rest is the 5% of the communication is other communication. But if we talk about health communication, it is 95% of the mass communication. Why don't we say that mass communication is health communication? So instead of if you say mass communication, this mass communication disseminates only most of the time about health communication. I was listening to all the speakers. The speakers were talking about the COVID. The speakers were talking about social media. The speaker was talking about about telemedicine, telesurgery. So when you are talking about the advances in the field of medicine, field of health, we'll see that even doctors or nurses or whoever it is, they are learning from the media. Somebody in the initial stages of pandemic, we thought that the media was exaggerating and we should not see the television channel. In fact, I don't see any television channel because I do not have time, but the media is so powerful now that whether they do excessively or whether they underplay it, still the variety of media, the diversification of the media is sufficient to bring about enough knowledge among the social groups and see that we strike an equilibrium. And at this point of time, being the last speaker, I think almost all the others would have found really difficult to listen to my long lecture, or any more time if I try to spend on this audience, this August audience, it will be really not fair on my part. I congratulate Professor B.K. Ravi, Professor Sanjeev Raj, Professor Shailashri, and Professor Vasundhara, the department, for conducting this program. And meanwhile, the speakers have really done well, very informative, and it's such type of programs have to be conducted regularly in order to update ourselves and also to update society. I thank Professor Dr. C.N. Manjunath. I thank our Sachidanand, Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi Health University. I thank Ramachandra, Professor Ramachandra from Nimans, and I thank Uma Sham for all their, what you can say, distinguished, I can say, lecture series in this program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. We definitely look forward to specialized courses in health communication. I now request Dr. Vasundhara PM, Assistant Professor, Department of Communication, to please deliver the vote of thanks and close the session. And regarding a couple of questions that have come in the chat, due to lack of time, we will not be able to take questions right now. But what we can do is you could just please email your questions to chairmanbocbub@gmail.com. I'll just repeat that. It is chairmanbocbub@gmail.com. Over to Dr. Vasundhara PM, Assistant Professor, Department of Communication, to deliver the vote of thanks and close the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Communication, Bangalore University, Gyanbharati campus, it is indeed my pleasure to be delivering the vote of thanks for this session today. It has been our humble initiative to try and put together an array of ideas relating to science communication and health communication to foster more discourse and discussion around this extremely important and rapidly developing area in communication today. It has definitely been a great day one of sharing and learning together. Simplifying the idea of health communication would have not been possible without such wonderful speakers. Dr. Uma Sharma, Professor of Mathematics, Bridgewater State University. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today for that wonderful keynote address and drawing emphasis on that content-driven media and the need for more scientific research in the technology-driven age. Thank you so much, ma'am. Dr. S. Sachidananda, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Research Center. Thank you, sir, for throwing light upon the importance of health communication and instigating the idea of tailoring the message according to the medium of communication for effective health communication, and also hinting at promoting health communication through our education systems, which is definitely the need of the hour. Padma Shri Dr. C.N. Manjunath, Director, Jayadeva Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bangalore. It is our honor to host you, sir. Thank you for taking time off your extremely busy schedule and enlightening us about the nitty-gritties of health communication. It was extremely interesting to listen to your take on how media is increasingly becoming both an integral tool and a platform for miscommunication in communicating health and health related information. Thank you again for being with us and encouraging this initiative, sir. Dr. C. Ramchandra, Director, Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, Bangalore. We at the Department of Communication are extremely happy to have you as a panel, as a member of the panel of speakers for today's session. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on how mass media has changed the course of communication over time and how its extensive reach is helping the common man today. Thank you again, sir. I would like to extend my gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Venugopal KR, without whose support we could not have thought about conducting this international conference on science communication at such a grand scale. Thank you, sir. The backbone of this department, our chairman, Professor Dr. B.K. Ravi, without whose encouragement, guidance, and constant support, none of this could have been a reality. Thank you, sir, for putting this together for us so that we could all benefit out of it and put this to good use in the time to come. Thank you, sir. I thank Ms. Amruta Varshini from the Department of Performing Arts for setting the stage for this session with the extremely soulful rendering. Thank you, ma'am. Professor Winkai, Professor Madhu, and Professor Jabbar from Bridgewater State University have joined us today. We are extremely grateful for you taking your time off to join us. Thank you, everyone. I would also like to thank my teachers, Dr. N. Sanjeev Raj and B. Shailashri, for guiding us through this process of working towards putting this conference together. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. This vote of thanks would be incomplete without taking the name or thanking this next person. Without him, our virtual existence wouldn't be possible. Thank you, Prashant, for tirelessly working to make sure all our sessions carry on smoothly without any technical glitches. You made our life easy. I would also like to thank Vinod Kumar for supporting Prashant and all of us with all the wonderful digital content. I extend a huge thank you to our research scholars, Sridevi and Manjunath, and our students, Charan, Omkar, Suhas, and Samantha, for extending your unending support to all the undertakings of the department. And yes, of course, how can I forget our moderator, Mansi? Thank you for being so vibrant and so full of energy. You made the sessions lively and interactive. Thank you. Lastly, a big thank you to all the participants and attendees who have logged in to support our endeavor in educating and encouraging this emerging area of communication. I thank every single person for joining us today. Hope you all had a great day filled with new learning. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Vasundhara. Very nice of you and very kind of you. Today, we did a fantastic session on health communication. So stay tuned to have some great takeaways on space communication and environmental communication in the next 2 days. Same time, that's 3 p.m. tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. And thank you for keeping it interactive. See you. Goodbye.